Hey, welcome. We're about to dive into one of the most famous and maybe most misunderstood ideas in the entire Bible, the Sabbath. But we're not just going to skim the surface. We're going to challenge what most of us think we know and uncover a meaning that's been hiding in the original language all along.
So let's just start with a pretty big question. For, centuries, we've called the Sabbath a day of rest. It's just what you do. But what if that simple translation, the very foundation of how we see it, completely misses the point?
All right, let's really get into it. First, we're going to have to deconstruct the common idea of the Sabbath as just, a day off. Then, we'll build it back up with a much more powerful and frankly more accurate understanding that comes straight from the original text. To do that, we have to go to the source, the original Hebrew. The root word for Sabbath is Shabbat. And here's the kicker. It doesn't primarily mean to rest. It means to stop or to cease. Just think about the creation story for a second. After 6 days, it's not like God was exhausted and needed to crash on the couch. The text just says he stopped his work of creation. That's a very different idea.
And this really highlights a huge cultural gap, right? Our modern idea of rest is all about R&R, taking a break from stress, getting away from it all. But the biblical idea of Shabbat is something way more specific. It's a holy, deliberate stoppage of creative activity. It's an action in itself, not just the absence of action.
So if the whole point is to stop, the next logical question is, what exactly are we supposed to be stopping from? Well, to answer that, we have to understand this really crucial distinction the Bible makes between two very different kinds of work.
Okay, so the first word, and this is the one that's actually forbidden on the Sabbath, is malakah. This isn't about your 9-to-5 job or punching a clock. The root of this word is connected to the Hebrew for king and agent or messenger. Malakah is about creative work. It's about acts where we shape the world around us according to our own will.
Now, the second word is avodah. This one is much closer to our modern idea of a job or physical labor. It's related to the word for servant or slave, and it really describes toil or service, work that's done in submission to someone or something else.
And this right here is the key. The Sabbath command specifically forbids malakah. It's a day to deliberately step back from our own acts of creation, to stop playing king in our own little worlds for a day.
So, what creative acts are we talking about? How do we know what to stop doing? Well, the answer is kind of hidden in this incredible literary design right in the book of Exodus, and it connects the Sabbath directly to the building of the tabernacle.
It's amazing. In Exodus, God gives 7 distinct speeches about building his holy dwelling place. The first 6 lay out all the blueprints, how to make the ark, the menorah, all of it. And they specifically say the craftsman will use malakah to build it. But then we get to the 7th and final declaration, the climax of this whole section. And what is it? It's the command to stop and observe the Sabbath. And just to make sure we don't miss it, there's this huge linguistic clue tying it all together. The text uses the exact same Hebrew verb asa, which means to make or to build, for both things. So you are told to build a sanctuary, and you're also told to build a Sabbath. How cool is that?
This brings us to the core thesis of this whole idea. The malakah, the specific creative craftsmanship that was used to build the holy sanctuary, is the very same malakah we're commanded to stop in order to build a holy Sabbath. The text itself is defining what the prohibited work is for us.
Okay, I get it. This might feel a little bit abstract. So, let's put this new framework to the test with one of the most confusing and, for many, difficult Sabbath rules, the ban on making a fire.
Exodus 35 says it plain as day. And this is where a lot of us get tripped up, right? Was making a fire back then really that much work in our sense of the word? But when you look at it through the lens of malakah, the answer becomes crystal clear. It has nothing to do with physical effort. It's about dominance. Fire is pretty much the most basic, quintessential human tool for controlling, shaping, and manipulating the world around us. It's the ultimate act of malakah.
So let's take that principle and bring it into our world. If making a fire is about imposing our will on creation, what's the ultimate modern act of dominion that uses fire?
Starting a combustion engine. When you turn the key in your car, you are creating a series of controlled explosions, an act of fire to move yourself through the world at will. That is a direct, modern application of the ancient principle. See, it's not about how hard you have to work to do it. It's about the act of dominion itself. So, where does this all leave us? What's the takeaway? How does this new understanding completely reframe the entire purpose and meaning of the Sabbath?
Well, it totally shifts the Sabbath from being just a day for us to rest to being a day where we step back from being in charge. By stopping our own melaka, our own creative acts of dominion, we are symbolically taking ourselves off the throne for a day and acknowledging the ultimate creator.
And that brings us to this final, really beautiful metaphor. The Sabbath becomes a sanctuary in time. It's a holy space, just like the tabernacle was. But it's a sanctuary that we build not with our hands, but by the powerful and deliberate act of stopping our hands.
So, in the end, the Sabbath isn't just about not working. It's about pausing our own role as creators to make space to honor the one true creator. It's an active, intentional construction of holiness within the week. So, let me ask you, how does this change your view of what a simple day of rest is all about?